You spent 3 hours on that trade. 3 hours. You pulled up the weekly chart, then the daily, then the 4-hour. You checked the news. You read the Fed statement twice. You drew your levels. You waited for the candle to close. You waited for confirmation. Everything lined up. You felt it in your chest. That warm, electric certainty. This is the one. You hit the button, and within 4 minutes, the market stopped you out. Clean. Surgical. Like it knew exactly where your stop was. And now you're sitting there. Not just angry about the money. Angry about something deeper. You feel stupid. You feel like you were lied to. Like the chart made you a promise and broke it. Like the market looked at your analysis, your 3 hours of work, your carefully drawn trend lines, and laughed. I know that feeling. And I need to tell you something important. That pain you're feeling right now, it has nothing to do with the trade. It has everything to do with your need to be right. See, you weren't trading that setup. You were trading your opinion. You had decided the market was going up. And when the market disagreed, it wasn't just a loss. It was a personal attack. But here's the brutal truth. The market does not know you exist. It isn't watching you. It isn't punishing you. It isn't teaching you a lesson. It just is. Price moves because of the collective decisions of millions of people, algorithms, institutions, and random events you will never see coming. Your analysis had nothing to do with what happened. And that's not an insult. That's the most liberating thing I'll ever tell you. Because if the market isn't punishing you, you don't need to protect yourself from it. You just need to stop trying to predict it. Let me introduce you to a man named Mark Douglas. Quiet guy. Not flashy. Didn't have a hedge fund. Didn't blow up spectacularly like Livermore. But he figured something out that almost no one in trading talks about honestly. He figured out why professionals make money consistently while talented, intelligent, hardworking people blow up their accounts over and over. And the answer wasn't better indicators. It wasn't a secret strategy. It wasn't more experience. It was a completely different relationship with probability. Let me give you the example Douglas used to explain it. Walk into a casino. Any casino. Watch the roulette table. The house doesn't know if the ball is going to land on red or black on the next spin. Nobody does. But does the casino manager lean over and whisper a prayer before every spin? Does the pit boss wince when a player hits blackjack? Does the casino panic when someone wins 3 hands in a row? No. Why? Because the casino isn't thinking about this spin. The casino is thinking about 10,000 spins. It knows the math. The house edge on roulette is about 5.26%. That's tiny. On a single spin, it means almost nothing. Over 10,000 spins? It means the casino always wins. Not on every hand, not on every night, but over time, mathematically, inevitably. Now look in the mirror. You are not operating like the casino. You're operating like the gambler. You're standing at the table desperate for this spin to go your way. You're counting the last 3 losses. You're second-guessing your strategy because it didn't work the last 2 trades. You're praying. You're terrified. And the casino is just watching you, calmly, because it knows something you don't. You can't beat the math. Douglas put it in a single sentence that should be tattooed on every trader's desk. The consistency you seek is in your mind, not in the market. Read that again. The market will never be consistent. It will never be predictable on every single trade. But you can be consistent in your execution, in your risk management, in your willingness to take the next trade after a loss. That consistency is what creates an edge. And right now, you don't have it. Not because your strategy is broken, because your mind is broken. Here's a concept that will either set you free or terrify you. Probably both. Random distribution Let's say you've backtested your strategy. It wins 65% of the time. Solid edge. You think that means trade number 1 has a 65% chance of winning. Trade number 2 has a 65% chance of winning. That's not how it works. What it means is that over the next 20 trades, roughly 13 will win and 7 will lose. But you don't know which 7. You cannot know. The losses are randomly distributed across the sample. So you could lose the first 4 trades in a row. All 4. Clean stops. 4 losses. And your strategy is still working perfectly. Let that sink in. 4 losses in a row on a strategy that's going to win 65% of the time. But what do you actually do when you lose 4 trades in a row? You abandon the strategy. You go back and tweak the entries. You add another indicator. You cut your size in half. You stop trading altogether. And in doing that, you just broke your own edge. Douglas used a perfect analogy for this. Imagine a coin. Not a fair coin. A weighted coin. 60% chance of heads. 40% chance of tails. And heads means you make money. You flip it. Tails. Loss. Do you throw the coin away? Do you say the coin is broken? Of course not. You flip it again because you know the math. You know that over 100 flips, you're going to come out ahead. But here's what makes trading brutal. Each flip feels personal. Each loss feels like evidence that you're wrong, that your system is wrong, that you should have seen it coming. Every single loss triggers a mental inquisition. Why did I take that trade? What did I miss? Was the volume wrong? Was the spread too wide? And you'll find reasons. You'll always find reasons. Because the human brain is a pattern-finding machine. It will manufacture a reason for every loss. And those manufactured reasons will slowly corrupt your strategy until you don't have a strategy anymore. You just have a collection of anxieties. The truth is harder and simpler. You cannot know which trade will win. Stop trying. That's not your job. All right. Let's rebuild this from the ground up. Shift 1. A loss is an expense, not a failure. Think about a restaurant owner. Every day they buy inventory. Fresh produce, fish, meat. Some of it spoils. Some dishes don't sell. Some nights are slow. Does the restaurant owner sit in the kitchen and weep over the lettuce that wilted? No. They understand that buying inventory is the cost of being open for business. A losing trade is the cost of buying a lottery ticket on an edge. You paid for the opportunity to be in the next winning trade. That's all it is. The moment you reframe a loss as a business expense rather than a personal failure, your entire psychology shifts. You stop dreading losses. You start seeing them as part of the operating cost of running a trading business. And when you stop dreading losses, something miraculous happens. You stop widening your stops. You stop holding losers, hoping they'll come back. You stop exiting winners early because you're terrified of giving profit back. You just execute. Clean. Mechanical. Like the casino dealing the next hand. Shift 2. Stop judging yourself on one trade. Judge yourself on 20. This is the hardest one. Because the pain of a loss is immediate. It hits you right now, this second, in the chest. But the edge of your strategy plays out over time. So judging your strategy after one trade is like going to the gym once and checking if you have abs. It's insane. Here's the only question you should ask after any trade. Did I follow my rules? Not, did I make money? Not, was I right? Did I follow my rules? If yes, that trade was a success, regardless of the outcome. A loss where you followed your rules is a winning trade, because you executed your edge. And execution, repeated consistently over 20 trades, is where the money lives. Most traders never make it to trade 20 because they've rewritten their rules by trade 4. Don't be that trader. Shift 3. Your ego is the enemy. Say it out loud. Your need to be right is costing you money. Every time you move a stop to avoid taking a loss, that's your ego. Every time you don't take a valid setup because this one feels uncertain, that's your ego. Every time you double your size to make back a loss quickly, that's your ego. Your ego is not trying to hurt you. It's trying to protect you from feeling stupid. But the market rewards people who can look stupid and keep going. The market rewards the trader who takes a clean loss, says nothing, and executes the next setup. Not because he doesn't care, but because he understands something deeper. This trade is not a referendum on my intelligence. It is one data point in a series of 1,000. One hand in the casino, and the casino never takes it personally. Douglas was explicit about this. He said the information coming from the market is neutral. A candle is a candle. A breakout is a breakout. The meaning you attach to it, the fear, the excitement, the ego, the hope, that's all you. And that's the only thing you can actually control. Here's your challenge. Not a suggestion, a challenge. Your next 20 trades. You do not look at the profit and loss while they're running. You set your entry. You set your stop. You set your target. And you judge yourself on one metric only. Did I follow my rules? After 20 trades, look at the results. Not before. If you followed your rules on 15 out of 20 trades, you won. Regardless of what the profit and loss says. Because you are no longer gambling. You are operating. There is a difference. A gambler needs this hand to work. A gambler prays. A gambler adjusts the bet mid-hand. A gambler is terrified. An operator doesn't need any single trade to work. An operator trusts the math, takes the loss, executes the next setup, doesn't blink. Mark Douglas spent decades watching traders fail. Brilliant traders, hard-working traders, traders with perfect strategies, and they all had the same problem. They were trying to be right, not profitable. Right. And the market will never, ever give you that. But it will give you something better. A mathematical edge that compounds over time into consistent profitability. If you can accept randomness. If you can take the loss. If you can execute without needing this specific trade to validate your intelligence. Stop adding indicators. Information is not the answer. Stop studying new strategies. A probability problem is not solved with more data. The answer is here. In your psychology. In your willingness to be wrong on this trade and right over time. The casino doesn't need luck. It has an edge. So do you. Stop gambling. Start operating.